This video today is going to be about jacking up your car and putting it on jack stands. So first we're going to talk about jacks. I've got the three basic styles of jacks laid out here. This first one is a 3.5 ton mechanics jack. It's pretty standard. The way this one operates is the handle is permanently attached to the jack. So if you turn it counterclockwise, it loosens it. And if you turn it clockwise, it locks it in place. So all you have to do is pump the handle. Jack will come up, raising your car, and then when you turn the handle counterclockwise, the jack will go back down. Pretty straightforward. Okay, the second type of jack today is a 2.5 ton, what I would call a home garage kind of floor jack. This jack's cheap. You can pick one of these up from anywhere from $20 to $30, and it's much more stable than the one that came with your car and is good for all kinds of home maintenance. So if you come here a little bit closer, I'll show you how this one works. The handle is separate on this one, and it has a very special end on it that has a little bar that goes through it. That bar connects right in here to this little lever. So we put this in here, and it works the same way. We turn it counterclockwise, it goes down, and turn it clockwise to lock it. Stick our handle in the jack, up she goes, and then we can also put it back in here to release it and bring it back down. Alright, the final one, and probably the most unsafe, and the one that everybody has, is the one that comes with your car, and that's a scissor jack. Okay? This style of jack you'll find in your trunk. It simply works with a screw that goes down the center. You turn, you use your same iron that takes your tire off your car and loosens the lug nuts. We'll turn this jack, put this in here, turn this guy around like this, and this jack will come up. It's hard to do. It's unfortunately the one you'll be stuck on the side of the road using, so you're going to have to use it in my class. Here we are at the 99 Ford Taurus, and we're going to show you how to jack this up using different types of jacks. The first thing you have to do on this car is find out exactly where you want to jack it up from. A couple things you don't want to do. You don't ever want to jack up a car by the oil pan or by the engine block. This puts undue stress on the engine mounts. It can also damage the oil pan, which will then have to be replaced. And you never want to try to jack it up by the bumper because it's usually just a piece of plastic and it will break off as you get the car weight underneath it. So you want to find what's called the pinch point or the jack point of the car to establish a safe place to jack it up. So here I am down by the tire on the front of the car, and I'm looking right underneath by the door, and you'll notice right here where this piece of metal bends up and back down. This is called a pinch point or a jack point. Sometimes it's even labeled on the car. In this case, it's just a small indenture. And that's a safe place to establish to put our jack. So I'm going to start off by using our scissor jack that comes with the car. Okay, unfortunately, this jack is kind of a pain, and all you can do is slowly work this around, make it go up. It's really dangerous when you do this on the side of the road. You might want to keep a pair of gloves in the back of your car by your spare tire so that you have the ability to do this without too much trouble. It also helps sometimes to keep a small flat piece of plywood with your jack so that you have a stable ground to put it on, because when you're raising a jack like this on dirt or on the gravel, it tends to push itself into the road and can sink in while the car is in the air. Okay? So as you can see here, we are now starting to actually lift the car one little half screw at a time. So let me show you how that jack looks on the car. So here you can see the jack sitting in the pinch point, and that's going to keep it nice and safe while we jack it up into the air. So here we are with the 2.5 ton garage jack, and this is my favorite. This is the one I kind of grew up with, which makes it easy. So I'm going to slide this in and put it right under the same pinch point I used for the scissor jack. We're going to make sure that we're going to tighten up the lock here. And then before I put the handle in, I'm going to go ahead and just give it a few pumps to get it connected with the vehicle in the spot that I want. So here you can see the head of the jack resting in the pinch point, and from here we should be able to safely raise up this vehicle. Okay, you'll notice now, unlike the scissor jack, this one's going to quickly take the car off the ground safely. So once I get this one up, I'm going to show you where to place your jack stands so that you can be safe when you crawl underneath it. so this is our standard 3-ton jack stand, and this is what's going to keep you safe when you get underneath the car. And the way it works is like this. You got to make sure that when you pull it up, it actually locks on the teeth. This lever is simply to release the teeth and bring it back down. Okay, don't think this is a pump that's going to put this up. You just lift it up and it locks in place. Be careful that this is not put in backwards, as sometimes people will want to do, because it will not lock at all. So make sure it's in the right direction. And then we're going to slide it under our vehicle. And what we're looking for here is a good solid piece of metal. It's usually, 1 to 3 inches wide, depending on the size of the vehicle. We're going to slide our floor jack right underneath there and lift it up till it's as close as possible. So that's our safe procedure. And now we can lower the jack back down onto this jack stand and be safe. As you let the jack back down, make sure you let the jack back down as slowly as possible so that the car doesn't land hard onto the jack stand. So we're going to put this back in here. Just lightly release it, let it come down slowly until we're resting on the jack stand. Once we're on the jack stand, we can let the jack completely down and pull it out from under the car. You never want to work on a car that is completely supported by your jack. You want to make sure you have at least 1 to 2 jack stands under the vehicle to be safe. Okay, the car's been up on the jack stand for a while now. We've changed the tire, we've changed the brakes, we've done something to the vehicle, oil. So now we're going to use the 3-ton mechanic jack to be safe and lower this back down. It's very quick and easy. So we turn this clockwise to lock it in place. Shove it under the car. In the same point that we've been using to use the other 2 jacks, we're going to use the same point for this. We just simply pump the handle. Just like so. Now we're over here at our jack stand to remove our jack stand, and all we have to do is lift our handle, the jack stand falls down, and you can pull it right off from under the car. Make sure you remove the jack stand completely before you lower the car back to the ground, because I've seen it do weird things under cars if you forget them in there. Alright, so now all we have to do is come back over here and once again slowly turn your handle to lower your car. Try to do it without dropping it to the ground, because that's dangerous. That's all it takes.